Hi, beautiful human. I'm Zach. That's Dan.
Yo.
We welcome to the studio for the first time ever. Say hello to the warning.
Yay!
Hey! Hello.
So,
Hi.
obvious question. What are you warning us of?
Oh my God. Of our music. We're here. I'm kidding now. I don't know.
I mean, we usually try to make up a story for the name, but really we were children when we picked it. So it's just ooh, warning. But yes, we're warning the music industry that we're
here.
rocking. We're here.
We're here.
Like, you have been doing this for a very long time. Can you explain this starts kind of with the video game Rock Band, but there has to be a moment where you go, we should do this for real, right?
Right.
Yes. So we're sisters, and we grew up in a very musical household. Our parents love music, so we started playing the piano when we were very young. But it wasn't until our parents got us a video game, the Rock Band, that we loved playing it. I loved watching my sisters play all the time. Danny,
like 3.
Yeah, I was like 3.
Yes.
And Danny always picked up the guitar, and eventually she played the guitar. The same with drums. And then after that, I started playing the bass a few years later. And it was until I started playing that we were like, oh, we can play together. So we started making covers of our favorite songs and uploading them to YouTube. And we recorded the Enter Sandman one, and it went viral. And from there on, we started writing our own music. And it was until we started writing our own music that we were like, we really love doing this. And
It made sense.
And it was a very gradual change. But after that, we didn't stop. And
That was 10 years ago.
Oh, that's true.
So when you put it in that context, it's just crazy that we were like, oh yeah, we're going to be a band now. Awesome.
Because it did just happen almost like that. But why'd you want to learn the bass?
So we used to watch concerts all the time when we were a family, and I knew the other instruments. I knew the drums, the guitar, the piano, and I just saw this weird instrument that I didn't know of, and it just sounded so cool. And I was like, oh, I want to play that instrument, and that's how I ended up playing the bass.
Can you explain the role of a bass in a band? Because it has a very important one, right?
Yes. A lot of people are like, oh, the guitar player that couldn't play the guitar well, so we put them on the bass. But no, the bass is the drums and the bass are the foundation of a band. I feel like if my role as a bass player, if I'm not tight with Pau is playing, I feel like it all falls apart.
It's the soul
for
of
me,
the band.
For me, it's
sure.
a big part of it. Not just because I'm the bass player, but it is my favorite instrument.
I'm
I feel
the
like
skeleton. You're the blood.
Oh,
and
I love
Danny's
that.
the skin, if that makes any sense. I feel like that's
yeah.
how
A lot of people don't
move.
notice the bass,
Skin.
but I feel like it's the most important part
No,
of
for sure.
the
Yes, I agree.
band.
For sure.
Can you explain to me, though, how this ends up becoming this hard... how would you describe the type of rock you make?
I think we started describing it as hard rock, but I don't
think we started calling it like that because people would call us the princess of metal. They're hard, heavy
Hitting,
rock girls. But honestly, I think we just play rock, and everything that falls under that, we vary a lot in styles within our albums, but it's usually hard rock. It's leaning towards that.
The
but we give
energy of
ourselves
rock is there.
the liberty to really just explore every subgenre under rock. But if you were to book us for a festival, it would be a hard rock festival probably.
So why did hard rock become the way and the place and the genre for you to just let your life and frustrations out in song?
Definitely, because we had so many frustrations we had to let out.
I can imagine. You're so young, a lot going on in Mexico. I understand.
I know. No, I think that was the rock band's fault for sure. I think we just saw the video game and all the concerts and the live energy that it had, that it just called to us when we were writing our first few songs. That's what immediately
I mean, I don't think we
came
really
out.
thought about it. We were just writing music and it came out like that. It's not like we had this strategy actually, we're going to be a rock band and we're eventually going to become a hard rock band because, I mean, it's just we started writing music. It was born like that. Our parents listened to rock music. We constantly played it on the video game. Yeah. So it was just a very natural process.
And I keep remembering that Ale was 10
yes,
or 9.
I forgot.
It was
Really
just funny
I was
to me.
really young.
Yes.
I just went with it.
It was
Went
with
with
the
the
flow.
Yeah.
No, it's just really interesting because not every day, we talk to a lot of pop musicians, a lot of folk artists, a lot of singer-songwriters, but very rarely do we find younger rock groups.
Yes, I got that.
Yeah, the icons come in, but it's very different to find that of a next generation. Do you know why rock music is not as widely created as it once was?
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like mainstream right now, what you really see, it's usually pop music, it's rap music, folk music is also like a big thing sometimes. Especially like in Mexico, rock is definitely not at like the forefront of what would be called mainstream music, but there is a very intense rock culture in Mexico.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many fans. And I feel that everyone, it doesn't matter if you actively listen to rock music or not, but everyone knows the hits. Everyone knows the genre, knows like the culture behind it. It is only a matter of time, in my humble opinion, till it starts bleeding into mainstream a bit more. Like you see artists like Olivia Rodrigo or like Willow who start experimenting with like pop rock or alternative rock. And I feel like it's just a matter of time until people our age really start gravitating toward it. Because I mean, when you're young, you have your frustrations, you're feeling things for the first time or whatever. And rock music is a very big outlet for that, I feel. Yeah. So hopefully that starts to change.
So I want to get into the songs that you have an album on the way. And I want to talk about, like, you have 3 albums out already, right?
Yep.
Oh my God,
This is the 4th one.
Yeah, a lot of music.
Yeah.
I want to understand like what fuels all those songs, but whose idea was it to cover Into the Sandman to begin with?
Into the Sandman.
No, sorry. What?
Enter Sandman.
Enter Sandman. I'm so sorry. Jesus Christ.
No worries. We should sing it like that from now on.
Into
It doesn't hit the same.
Oh yeah, no. But back in 2014, I think we just heard the songs that were kind of like challenging to us. We were like, ooh, that sounds like
our parents would listen to this music,
Yeah.
and we were like, what song would be fun or challenging to play together? So like for the guitar, it was like, oh,
The
we're gonna play
solo.
like Sweet Child of Mine, and then it was like, oh, we're gonna do Enter Sandman, stuff like that. Like we were just constantly changing between classics. I don't know why Enter Sandman was the one like blew up.
Yeah.
It was just all of a sudden we were like viral, which is really weird when you're young. Like you were 9, 10.
I was 10, yeah.
Yeah, I think I was 13. You were 15. And you don't really realize what's going on when you're at that age. It's just like, oh my God, okay, we have interviews now, fun. But it is so crazy to think that we had such a full circle moment with Enter Sandman. It started our careers, then it's not last year. Was it 2 years ago?
2021.
Oh my God, okay. In 2021, Metallica invited us to be a part of their Blacklist album, which is like the 30th anniversary of the Black Album. And we did a cover of Enter Sandman, like our version with Alessia Cara. That was insane for us to like just really like have a moment of something that really launched our careers and to have been a part of Metallica's album with our own version.
Yeah.
It was just
and getting
amazing.
the thumbs up from them as
they were
well.
like,
'cause
we
were
like
like,
it.
That's cool.
Thank you.
We're like,
That's huge.
Yeah, it was amazing.
yeah.
How did Alessia get involved in that song?
Oh, right. So I think like our management team kind of like works with her too. So they kind of like put us together in this project. And
Yeah, they
it
invited
worked
Alessia,
so
and
well.
Alessia wasn't sure if she wanted to do it by herself. And like we had history with Enter Sandman, we are a rock band.
Yeah.
But it was so different because it was our first time doing a collaboration of any
Any
type,
kind.
and now we were gonna cover such an iconic song that is Enter Sandman, and like put our style in it, Alessia's style in it. We had a week to do the version, record the version, mix it, and master it. Alessia was in Canada, we were in Mexico.
It was still pandemic-y times.
It was crazy.
It was crazy.
But it was really cool.
How do you make music today? Does it start with you just jamming? Does it start with a story you want to tell? What is the process like?
You know, I feel like it depends on the era. This time around for this new album, it was in between touring. We were just like on the road all the time, whatever we would like kind of like grasp on. We would just kind of like Pau had her MIDI keyboard on
Oh
tour.
my God, yes.
She would just kind of like demo stuff. But usually our slower writing process is Pau on the piano. It's funny to think that our rock songs start as piano ballads,
Yes,
but they
most of them.
usually do.
But I feel like today we don't have the luxury of like having the time to sit down and jam and just like work it out little by little. For this album, it was like we had writing sessions. Like we would sit down and be like, we have to write a song today. So we would sit down and write with other people, which was actually really fun. We had never done that before. We would write with other people, make a song per day. We would like 2-week writing sessions. We would write a song each day and then record them. Because we were touring for 2 months, then coming back a week, writing, pre-producing, recording, and then leaving again for another tour.
Okay, so do you take the song that you write on like a guitar or piano, and then do you put it to instruments? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, we just kind of like get together in a room and figure out how to like rockify it. Just kind of
Rockify.
play it together.
basically.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So how long after a song is written, then do you go back and like turn it into a rock song?
It
no,
really depends.
it gets
on
done
the
like
cycle.
in the moment.
I mean,
Yeah, like a day. Like maybe sometimes even we do like pre-pro, and on pre-pro we would figure out like
everything
what's
else.
best for the song and like arrange
parts.
all the instruments. Yeah.
Do you have people writing in these sessions with the intention of making a rock song or with the intention of making a good song?
that's a good question.
Yeah,
I actually don't know. I feel like
it depends on
I
the
feel
people
like
we
that's
were
a
writing
question,
with. Yeah.
like for them, because we usually are. I feel like the common goal is to write a good song.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what. Obviously, we gravitate towards rock, and it's music for us, and we're writing it as well. So like we pull the tracks like that way. But I feel, especially like when we're top lining,
Yeah.
sometimes the melodies are like pure pop, and you're like, oh my god, like we have such different influences, but like at the end of the day, we can put it in the rock genre, and it feels like perfect. It's just a perfect mix of it. But
Yeah, like what makes a rock song? Is it the lyrics or is it the production and the
I feel
instruments?
like it's the
It's a
production.
production.
The production, for
Yes.
sure.
I mean, have
The
you ever
distorted
listened to
guitars.
like the pop goes punk? Like it's that thing. Like you could just, if you add a distortion to it, people would probably consider it rock. Most of the time.
But is that really rock?
I feel like rock is kind of like the feeling more than anything.
I feel
You
like
know,
rock
it's like,
purists would be like, actually, that's not it. But I feel like for us, it really is about an attitude and a.
Yes.
It's usually distortion on the guitar and
for
like
sure. And
real
I feel
drums
like
sometimes.
the essence of rock is just kind of like breaking rules, just like ignoring boundaries, just kind of like going against the current in
Yeah,
general.
exploring.
For sure.
Hello, beautiful human. Every year, millions of gamers experience IGSS, inadequate gaming setup syndrome. Luckily, a cure has been found. You have to go beyond. With the Vibrasonic mattress by Beyond Sleep. This thing has 6 built-in subwoofers, USB ports for charging, LED lights so you never stub your toe. It gives you an acoustic massage when you want it, plus adjustable degrees of comfort. This right here is the best way to game ever. Cure your IGSS today at BeyondSleepTech.com.
What is the balance between speaking Spanish in your records and speaking English? Because some songs purely English, some songs Spanish, some a little bit of both. Is there strategy there?
Strategy? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
I feel like we
Is it
should.
conscious, like the decision you're making of what language to speak?
Yes.
That is
Yes.
very when we started writing, it was always in English. Like we didn't have songs in Spanish. We only have 3 songs in Spanish out of our 3 albums, which is kind of crazy to think about. But it was only until 2019 when we released our first
first.
song in Spanish. We were born and raised in Mexico. We still live in Mexico, and we don't talk English like
In our day-to-day.
In a day-to-day. I
Nope.
don't communicate with my sisters with English. But for some reason, writing lyrics, like we grew up with rock that was in English. So when we started writing, it just came out like that. Because writing in Spanish is
So
really
hard.
hard. It's a hard language to write in, especially like phonetically. It's really different. The words are longer. It's just like finding the correct phrasing and making everything fit. And like usually in choruses, you try to put like your main idea into the chorus and have like that speak for itself. But in Spanish, you have to fit so many words in to have that idea
so
speak for itself.
descriptive. Yeah.
So, but we love writing in Spanish. There is something so special about sharing your culture and your language and such a big part of your life in your music like that. Like we just came back from a tour in Europe and we were like in the Czech Republic where people don't speak English nor Spanish. And we were playing our Spanish songs and people were screaming them back at us. And it's like, it's insane that music can connect us in that way. Like it's pretty crazy that we're able to do that with what we do.
Do you credit the rock genre for that? Because it is a really global genre of music
Yes.
that has like
Yeah.
really diehard purist fans that like will get behind you if you meet their criteria.
The rock community in
so
general,
passionate.
they're so passionate, and I feel like they're one of the most like loyal people that you'll
For
ever
sure.
find. They're just like one big family.
Yeah, like once
no
they're
matter where they're
fans,
from.
they're like fans. Like they stay.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy to think like we've been a band for 10 years. And sometimes I see fans that they like followed us since like 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't believe that like these people have literally seen us grow up, not only like as people, but like musically. And they've seen that whole journey.
Whole
And they've
careers.
supported us throughout the whole journey. So rock does that to you. It's really nice.
So what story are you telling with this next one? Keep Me Fed.
Keep me fed.
So Keep Me Fed is about the need we all have to be constantly fed something, whether it be entertainment or like we're all kind of like not staying still. Like being bored is kind of like not an option anymore.
Yeah.
It's everything is just going. It's like overstimulation, overconsumption, and that's what we kind of wanted to talk about in this
And it's
overarching.
really what we were living this
Yeah.
whole past year. We've been touring nonstop for the past few years. We've done like 175 shows over the past few years, and it's been just like one after the other. And it's like we as artists, how we continue to feed like our fans, people who follow us, but also how we feed on other like people's art and ideas, and how it's just like this cycle. And I feel like it's the first album where we really let go a little bit and we're a bit more personal about what we were talking about, what we were living.
yeah.
And we just like really, I feel like it's a little time capsule of like the craziness that has been like the past few
little diary.
years. Yes.
So where were you writing from before? Imagination or what?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty
We
much.
would read a lot.
Our first albums are like
Heavy concept albums.
yes, novels basically because
Yeah, I feel like when you're growing up, you identify yourself a lot with outward media, and you're very inspired by that. But I feel like we're at a point in our lives where we're living so many things in such a short period of time that we really don't have time to process any of it. And it is when writing an album, when you're sitting down and writing a song,
That's where it
where you
comes
can
out.
like talk about it and be like, oh my God, this happened. Let's write a song about it.
So are you doing that just the three of you, or are you always including other people?
This is the first record that we included
Other people.
other people in the writing process. Yes, and that was weird for us because we're sisters, so we have that very good connection of communicating our wants and needs for the song, and just kind of like involving strangers was like.
And also, we work in Spanish.
Yeah.
Like we write in English, but we're talking in Spanish throughout the whole process.
Creatively.
So having people who didn't know a single word of Spanish in the room sometimes was like, how do I communicate this to you? But it was really, actually really fun.
Really fun.
Because we were trying to be like this coherent unit. Like if we had an idea, the three of us would have to like stand behind it. Like we had to be in agreement of like on what we wanted for the song.
Yeah.
So we could like huddle up, talk about it in Spanish, and just say like, okay, we have this idea, and just the three of us be on the same page for it. But it was really different working with other people. I loved it, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like we had a topic and we had very different points of view about it, not only between the three of us that we were living literally the exact same thing, but other people who had different influences musically and in their lives, different experiences. And it was just a big melting pot of all of that. It's fantastic.
Can you explain to me how you're placing things like, I don't know, like guitar riffs and like drums? Because there's an emotional element to the musicianship here. So like, how does that work? And are you guys the ones doing it?
Yes. We record everything that is on our records. And you're right. Like the humanness of how we play and perform our parts, like thinking about what we're saying matters a lot. I don't know how to explain how we consciously like do this because we're so
you're
used
listening to the lyrics,
Yeah.
and you feel the vibe of the song. And when you're doing the actual riffs, like you already have. Well, sometimes you don't, but most of the times we have a feeling that we want to
present.
talk about. Like we know what we're doing, so you really are conscious about like you're like this riff has to sound sad, and you make a sad sounding riff. I don't know how to explain it.
And
It's
for
so
this
weird.
album, I feel like we didn't have the time to write like proper parts when we were actually writing the song. So when we recorded the songs, we were like writing
Changing
parts
stuff.
and like changing riffs
Yeah.
and notes and adding parts to our respective instruments. So I feel like it all went in like the actual recording process.
Were you able to find like a group of writers that you'd work with again? Or did you
Yes.
just work with different people on every song?
Actually, we worked with different people almost for every song. There's a few that repeat, but because of some writing sessions, we found our producer Anton the Lost was just a writer that we're gonna write a single song with, and he ended up producing the whole record.
Wait, that's awesome.
Yeah, we
didn't want to go to that writing session.
Yeah, no.
We were so tired. It was at the end of a tour, which had been like a 6-week-long tour. We were exhausted. And it was the last day we were going to be in the U.S. We were about to go home, and the label put a writing session, and we were like, "Are you kidding me?" We were like, "Okay, it's a writing session. We don't do this a lot. Let's go." And Anton was staying at an Airbnb because he was moving still, and he was not answering his phone. And we were like, we're going to leave. If he doesn't answer in 5 minutes, we are going to leave this house.
Like, we need a nap.
But then he answered the door. So we went into the room. We're like, okay, let's write a song. And there was instant chemistry. Like, he's
is the best.
Amazing.
Yes.
And we wrote Sick. Sick is a song that we wrote with him that first writing session. Things flowed so amazingly. They were like, as we started meeting more people and we were thinking about who to produce it with, it was like Anton was the obvious choice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The song's also so good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. How does that song start when you guys bring it to him? Like, who begins it, and what do you guys give to him to kind of start writing it?
We also we kind of like already had the verses.
Yes, I actually fought with Anton
You're
over
right.
the verses because I had the word debase in the lyrics, and he was like, what is
what does that mean?
I'm like,
What
what do
is-
you mean you don't know what debase is? Like, it's a word. He was like, I speak English all the time and I don't know it. I'm like, that's a you problem. Like, I'm from Mexico and I know what debase means. So, but we kept it. So I had some verses.
Wait, what does it mean?
Debase is to remove the value of something.
Oh.
Yeah, like if you have, let me give an example. Imagine that somebody is canceled, okay, and you have them on your show. It could like debase like the
Integrity of the show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's a good word.
Yeah,
It is.
It's a normal word.
I wouldn't call it normal.
It's
but-
normal. It's in books.
It's in books.
It's in books.
It's in books.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then from there on, we kind of like listened to a lot of music that we were kind of like influenced by, that we wanted to like take that road, and then we started writing the guitar riffs. And for everything that we like put, Anton would say, "That's sick. Oh my God, sick. That sounds sick." And we're like, we should just call the song
song
sick.
Sick.
We should write about that. And that's literally how
it came
we
to
got
be.
the title and the theme for the song.
And he just stays a part of the journey for the entire album.
Yes.
For literally like every song.
Everything.
Like some of the songs we started out by ourselves, and some of the songs we wrote them with other people. And then
Yeah.
Anton came to Monterrey.
Yeah.
So Monterrey is where we're from. He came down to Mexico, and we recorded the whole thing in our hometown, which was fantastic. It was we had never done that before. I loved it. And we would just like finish all these songs that we didn't have time to finish them before with him. And he's great. I just really love his brain. He works in such a fantastic way.
Yeah.
Very cool to record it in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yes, no.
Fantastic.
And I feel like it brought out a creative and peaceful side to our being, to be able to, you know, like let go completely
We would
and
be able to
record.
sleep in our house.
Yeah, that makes like
We were
the whole
coming back
difference.
from really grueling tours. I don't know what it would have been like if we had to go, like, instead of going back home, like come to LA and
Yes.
record it here.
Stay in a
I think I would have
hotel.
gone insane. But we had our food, we had our language, we
Yeah.
had our culture, we had our people there. And it was also extremely nice to have somebody, like, to invite somebody into
Totally.
that. Like, share your culture in that way
And
and have it
specifically
in the
a
album.
collaborator who's there to like understand
Yes.
you and get to
Exactly.
know you. And
Exactly.
Exactly.
Anton
really cool.
Slade.
Wait, this is gonna be totally random. Have I met you before?
I
I know who
think
you
so.
are. Like, we
Yeah,
know who you
okay.
are.
Yeah.
But have we met each other?
I don't know.
Do we seem familiar?
Yes.
I mean, that's a good
good.
thing.
Yeah.
I love that.
No, but like you've been doing this a long time,
Yes.
and so
Yeah.
have I.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Who signed you? Is it Jason Flom?
yes,
Yes.
Jason.
Yeah, I may have met you before.
Really?
Maybe would it be like Vegas?
Or like
I, like-
or New York. I don't know. You guys
mean,
are giving
yes.
me so familiar. Like I've been in the same room as you.
Okay.
Maybe.
I mean,
We
Like
probably
I've
have.
looked at
we
you.
were probably
Yes.
way younger.
Yes.
Yes.
Like we were probably tinier.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, I'm gonna trust you on that. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's giving me like maybe we're connected like in another life. I don't know.
Ooh, maybe,
But, like,
maybe.
or it could just be as basic as I met you in New York City like 10 years ago or something, 8 years ago.
Maybe.
That'd be
Ooh.
crazy. Actually,
That'd be
It'd be really weird. I don't know.
serendipitous.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll get back to you. Like, I feel like
Okay.
I do know you, but maybe
Okay.
not. Maybe
We'll look into it as well.
Yeah.
it's also giving star quality. You know. Also, thanks for knowing who we are. That's very nice of you.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
no.
we're fans of what
Yeah,
you do.
of
It's so
course.
cool.
Well, you
It's
can
so
lie
fun.
and just say that the algorithm forces us there.
No,
we
we
saw
got the
it.
schedules.
Yeah.
We
We
got the
saw
schedules
it.
for the interviews,
Yeah.
and we saw it. and We're like, no
No
way.
way.
I
No
love your
way.
interviews. I'm always like, they ask such like interesting questions, and it
Yes.
just
For sure.
seems like such a
good-
nice.
It was
talk.
very funny,
Yeah.
like coming in and be like, I guess like we already
Like we already knew
Yeah.
who you were.
Like,
It's like, hi.
It's always awkward.
You guys are very sweet.
It's great.
Really nice. Thank you for giving us any time and energy at all. Like the
Oh,
charity
yeah,
work
thank you
is
for having
Likewise,
us.
yeah.
Yes,
needed.
our
Thank
pleasure.
you. Thank you. By the way, Keep Me Fed is the album. We're getting songs, drips and drips. Do we have a date for the actual album?
Yes, June 28th.
Oh, that's right. It's on my notes. Shit. But we do have there's a single that's coming.
Yes.
Yes.
On Friday.
This
Burnout.
Friday.
Yes.
That's insane. Time goes by so quickly. Burnout is the single that we're releasing this Friday. It's I feel the funnest song
Yeah.
on the album.
It's a very
we wrote it
funky
with Sam
song.
Hollander and
Oh,
Anton.
icon.
Yes, it was
Yes,
such a
I
pleasure
know.
working with him. He's a bit. I say this in the best way possible. He's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
he
he's crazy.
brings such a crazy like energy to the sessions.
Love
He was
it.
on Zoom. Anton was in Monterrey with us.
Yeah.
So it was just really strange, like a strange setup. But he slayed. Like it was such a pleasure working with him, and you can hear that craziness, that like
Yeah.
the fun that we had in that
I
session.
feel like
in the
once you
song.
know him, you will like hear him in the
song for sure. It happens to me with
Yeah.
like his past records.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I can hear Sam in there. It's insane.
Wait, so this is pretty cool. Like, this is the first album that you have a bunch of real collaborators. Because I know, like, you meet a guy during your journey that works on 3 albums with you, right? Like the last producer. But this is like your opportunity to do something really fresh, really different, really new.
Yeah.
But also still you.
It is.
It's
It sounds
exactly
very
that.
us.
It's so refreshing because you don't feel like you're getting stuck anywhere.
Yes.
I feel like there's no opportunity for writer's block. Like, especially because we didn't have the time. I was like, we have to write a song today.
Yeah.
And you have other people like helping you out there, and just, again, a big melting pot
Yeah.
of cultures and
Steering the
identities and
pot.
experiences. And it makes every song in the album so different and so unique. There's a little bit of something for everybody in there.
But what connects all the songs on the album? Is there anything?
Us.
Us.
Us and
Like,
our
yeah.
experiences and our feelings, and just that it is us. Like we wrote them, we sang them, we came to the studio like, this is what's happening to us. Have you ever been through something like this? And we just read about it.
Yeah.
We'd be talking about the album, but I haven't heard it. It's coming out June 28th.
Does burnout have anything to do with playing 170 shows in a year?
no,
I
actually.
mean, it could be if you
It could
wanted
be.
to.
Yeah.
But burnout.
It's about someone else. Actually, we wrote it. Well, we don't have a specific person in
Yes,
mind,
thankfully.
but like as a scenario, it's like I feel like everyone at one point has been in a situation where in a like or schoolwork or a friendship or a relationship where someone was not pulling their weight. You're like, oh my god, please! It's just that it's a song about what you would say to them. You know, the people
like
who
that
just like
person
write
is
their
a
name
burnout.
at the end of like the project when you know they didn't move a finger
For it.
For
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like everyone gets it. That's why we wrote about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel understood by that.
Yeah, I'm glad. Hope you enjoy the song.
Damn. No, I do feel understood by that deeply.
Does anyone ever feel like that's them in the band?
No, thankfully. Actually, we were talking about that. And they're like,
it's
is it about your sisters? And we're
like,
like, are you kidding me? What
that
if
would be
people
so
get the wrong
passive
idea?
aggressive.
I know.
That would be
Like
so
writing a song about each other without telling each other?
we all put in the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't feel like that at all.
Yeah, that'd be really dark if you write a song about each other, but you're all contributing to that song, not knowing it's about each other.
I'm writing, but I'm insulting myself.
Yeah.
while I'm writing it. No. So mean.
How do you view The Warning? Is it like different shade? Like, is it you guys all together making up one like painting, or is it just one? Like, is it one thing as of its own that's like bigger than any one person? Like, can you explain it to me? Because like the way K-pop looks at it is like each member is a different color, and they all
Right,
come
yes.
together to build this painting that is the band. And then like in some cases, like you have like a classic rock band, like if you have like Smashing Pumpkins or Slipknot or whatever, like there's this understanding that Slipknot is bigger than any one person in that group, right? Like no matter how you like
I see.
like look at it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love the
totally.
references. I love
Yeah.
the K-pop reference because they have like colors, fruits, shapes, animals, and it's like, okay, you're
Very
specific with
specific.
that.
Yeah.
They analyze music in a very deep,
Very different
detailed,
way.
emotional
We're
way.
huge
Yeah.
K-pop fans, actually. But I feel it's weird because I feel like it's bigger than ourselves, but it is us.
Yeah.
Like I
but
don't think
wait.
it could be.
I feel like we respect our individuality
We do, yeah.
very much. Like we each have our own thing, and I feel like our fan base knows that and kind of like plays along with it
Like
as
our
well.
fan base addresses us like Danny, Pao, and Ali. It's
for
never
sure.
just the warning, which
That's
is
correct.
like they know us as people. Oh, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Actually, that's insane to think about. Like
Yeah.
people perceive
That's
me
great.
as a human
Yeah.
being.
But I feel though I see the warning and the people I would like for them to see is like a very big family band because we are like even like our whole team.
I was
now.
gonna say that.
like
Like
our
it's not
mother's
only
here,
the
so-
three of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Like my mom is outside, and not only like our actual parents being a part of this family, but the warning is a whole team that has been working for 10 years
Yeah.
to help us make our dreams come true, to help our music get to other people. And I feel like it is so much bigger than myself as a person.
For
Like
sure.
sometimes, let's say if I've never wanted to kick the bucket, let's say, but like if I'm really tired and I don't want to do something, it's like it's not just me. Like my sisters are putting in so much work. My family's putting in so much work. The team is putting in so much work. So it is like a very big team effort. It is the warning,
Yes,
you know?
the warning family.
Yes.
It's special.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
is.
It's also the safest way to take on this journey, you know?
For sure.
It's really cool. You all get to win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Watch
a
dreams come true.
win-win-win-win situation.
You guys spend a lot of time together, huh?
Yes,
A lot of
we do.
time. Yes, especially it's fun in a bus for 2 months.
Yeah.
God,
I mean, we've always lived together.
Yeah.
We're
Yes.
sisters. But working
Working
for
together.
10 weeks, 15 people in a bus, that's different. That's
it's
definitely an experience for sure.
Yeah, I'm sweating just thinking about it.
Yeah. I mean, you're sharing bathrooms, you're sharing showers, you don't
Or
have,
not
like,
showering.
You're sleeping in a coffin. Or you don't shower
Or you
at all.
don't
Especially in
shower.
Europe, they don't have showers almost like
In the bus.
anywhere,
In the
like
bus,
in
yeah,
the
in the
bus,
bus.
Yeah.
and you have to shower at gas stations with your whole team. It's really cute.
Or at venues,
Bonding time. I've actually I've washed my hair. Well, like someone
the
in my team
sidewalk.
was carrying me on the sidewalk. Someone who put a
water bottle.
on my head. I would shampoo. So like you grow very close, definitely.
Exactly.
But I mean, I feel like we have a very healthy touring routine.
Yeah, we do.
I feel like people would have issues, but honestly, we all respect each other a lot, and we know that we're human and that we're not going to have good days every day. And it's like we usually just say like, "Hey, I feel horrible today. I am having such a bad day. Don't talk to me unless you have to, and I will do my job. Thank you." And everyone's like, "Okay, got
got you.
And that's it. Yeah,
That's a team
exactly. Teamwork.
and a family.
Are you guys able to separate yourselves as like sisters and bandmates and coworkers, or is it all kind of blend into one?
You know, I don't think it's very easy to completely separate it, but it's something that we have in mind. And since we've been doing it for 10 years, we kind of like, even from the beginning, we kind of knew that it was something that we were going to have to do if we were going to keep our sanity.
Yeah, and I feel like people view it as like this very hard thing to do.
Yeah.
But I don't struggle with it that much. It's like when we're working, I feel like people are more polite when they work with
Yeah.
like their coworkers than I would be to my sisters if I were to say things as they are. So,
true. Yeah,
so
that's
like
true.
if we're working and let's say that I mess up on something, my sisters are probably not going to come to me like, "You suck. You're like the most horrible sister for doing this." It's like,
No.
"Hey, can you practice a little bit more?
Yeah,
We
and
need
it's-
to
and
do
it's
this
not
correctly."
a personal thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like for the better of everyone and
Yeah.
for the band. It's just like, oh, you're messing up in this part.
More than
like,
anything, we have that
practice.
very like
Yeah,
And
very
at the
clear.
same
Yeah.
time, it wouldn't be the other way around of like, hey, what do you think if you could? 'Cause
No,
I feel
it's like, hey, I
have-
need you to
oh my
do it.
God. Yeah.
and that's it.
More than anything, we're business partners. Like we're
Totally.
a band, but we're business partners, and we we know that it's like
not
the three
personal.
of us all the time. So the three of us have to do like put in the same work or more work or whatever. It's a balance, but we know that it's because we love each other. Like it's for the best of the band and for us as like
We have the
sisters
same
as well.
goal.
Are the three of you writers on every song?
Yes.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why is it so interesting?
No, it's the right way it should be.
I feel like that's the way it should be as well because we're a band, and not only like
Not
do
every
we-
not every family band operates that way. Okay?
You're right.
Oh,
You're
I-
totally right.
I know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
personally, it's the thing that I enjoy the most.
Yeah.
And I feel like what you want to do with your family and your loved ones is share that, like share the things that you love the most.
I agree.
yeah. So
I
it's
g- I
just a
agree.
big bonding moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes that bonding is not that cute. Like
Sometimes it's really frustrating. It's
Yeah.
stressful. I feel like that those are the moments where we fight the most.
For sure.
Even as like family, like we don't fight that much, but when we're writing,
Yes.
things get interesting. But
Take
hey,
a
we
breather.
we make it work.
Yes.
We make it work.
But we understand each other so well,
Yeah.
especially when we were writing with other writers and we would get stuck and they're like, I need the verse. Like, I still need it even if you're stuck. And we would just like slave at it as best as we could. And if I would
all.
get stuck, Danny would like help me get unstuck. So it's just a very big like team effort
Yeah, you
all the
work
time.
together. You understand that it's a vision that takes all three of you. You all have roles. You work together for each other.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's a nice way to put it. I love that.
It does, like, it could get really, I'm telling you, it's weird. Like, as long as the three of you are creatively involved, I think everything will be balanced. The second one of you or two of you become not creatively involved, and then there's like, points on the table and who gets publishing and who gets writing credit. And
Those percentages are always like very
oh,
fun.
it will I'm telling you, cautionary tale, don't do it. Just like keep each other in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like,
for sure.
I mean, there's usually like, if you're in the room, but we usually try to like be more than in the room. It's like you're not just going to stand there and watch everyone else write the song. It's like, hey, we're already traveling. We're already doing this. And we want this album to be like our album.
Exactly.
So we're all very conscious that like we want to be
And
in it.
Don't
we
get
all
greedy.
have to live with these songs for the
Forever.
rest of
Yes.
our lives.
We have to play
wanna be
them every day.
You know what? We all have to love them. We all want to be involved.
But I'll tell you this, don't get greedy, because I'm telling you, greed is what's going to destroy it.
Probably. I mean, that's usually how it goes with everyone. So
Like literally,
No greed.
literally watching it. Like I'm watching it right now, not here in front of me, but like,
I was like,
there's a
oh my
parallel
God.
situation
Like, are you seeing the
happening.
future? Okay.
It's interesting.
Okay.
I'm not talking to you about it. You're crazy. You shake your mouth.
I don't know what you're talking about.
This is not the setting. This is not the time. But it is like working with your family is a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it
again,
is.
I feel like we've managed throughout these 10 years to really set a system in which it's more of a blessing than a curse. Because right now we're at a point in our careers where I feel like things are happening and it's really scary. But I feel like there's so many factors in these situations that could like make us grow apart. Like that
Yeah.
could cause some rifts or differences or that type of thing. But we've been doing this for 10 years. So we
So-
know how to handle that.
Totally.
Like we have enough experience with that in a sense that it can make us like grow closer together.
And I'm so
instead of
glad
the
for
other
those
way.
10 years because our
too.
system was not like this forever. You
Totally,
know, like
yeah.
it
You
had its like ups
You
and
had
downs.
to go down
Yeah.
before you can figure out how to stay up.
Yes,
at least
exactly.
kind of in the middle,
Definitely.
you know?
Yes.
So to have those when everything was way smaller was a blessing.
I really appreciate that.
Like, just remember that you're family and you can't really get another one of y'all.
Exactly.
And
That's
nobody's going to understand you or know you like the three of you and your mom know each other. And like, nobody's going to live and share the same memories that you all share together. Like, you can't, no matter how hard you look, you'll never be able to find another fucking person who can supply that.
Exactly.
Yep.
And we're talking about how like blessed we are for that. Because like even like my parents and my team who are in the same room as us like every single day and they see everything that happens. It is so different. And I feel like it could be really isolating if I were to do this alone. But like going up on stage, like doing the meet and greets, meeting the people, sharing your music, creating the music, playing it live. It is such a unique and peculiar experience that you really can't explain what it entails emotionally unless you live it with somebody else. And we
Totally.
live the same thing.
Even making the TikToks, man.
Even making
making
the
the
TikToks.
TikToks,
Yes, we see each other through all of that for sure.
Really special.
Yeah.
And you'll never be able to duplicate that with anybody
No,
else.
for sure.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other brothers or sisters, or is it just the three?
No.
of you?
No, just the three of us.
That
would
would
be
so weird.
Didn't know,
Fair enough.
didn't know if anyone was left out of this whole thing.
No.
I think not.
The personal assistant. No, that'd be
No, that would be so horrible.
No,
I'm
it's
glad
like,
it's just three. Yes.
you have like a brother who's like figuring out how to play tuba. Like you guys are all playing rock instruments downstairs. He just wants to be involved.
No.
Just wants to find a place. By the way, you can listen to Keep Me Fed. That is the album. It's waiting for you on Amazon Music. The Warnings discography waiting for you too. QR code on the screen or a link below. What are you thinking?
Well, virality doesn't last forever. So when Enter Sandman was going viral, how did you guys say like, all right, let's actually turn this into something and not just be gone in, a day?
I love that question.
I feel like it's so
because
important.
So important.
We just started working like real freaking hard. But I'm talking like we were playing festivals and like booking gigs in bars that would kick us out because we were too young. It's like you're not even 18, like you can't be in here. So we'd be going to these shows and just trying to like share our music as much as we possibly could. Social media as well. It was such a
Very
big
big
thing
part
for
of it.
us. Like we would just constantly be active on social media.
And a lot of rehearsals because we're like, if we want to prove that we're good, band members, we kind of have to like show that we got the skills.
Yeah,
So
like-
we just kind of like rehearsed.
I mean,
so
seeing three
much.
little girls on stage is already like, like, what's going on? Like, people were not ever going to take us seriously. Even sometimes now, it's like,
Yeah.
So, like, we knew that we had to have skills to, like, demonstrate and play our music and prove, like, hey, like, we can
I
do
can-
this.
yeah.
Thank you. Yes. So, we really put in, like, the time.
Yeah.
We rehearsed
of
so much, like 5 hours a day,
Yeah, it was
every day
insane. It
for
was insane.
years.
But that is really something that people face all the time, right? Like between 2019 and like 2022, we see more one-hit wonders than we've ever seen before.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is because like they don't have the goods to back up what they just sold, or like we're just given by the algorithmic gods. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
They don't have the
I get
discography, or they don't have the skills, whatever. Like it could be a combination of both.
yeah.
So the algorithmic gods bless you, and
They
you
did.
just
We're very lucky.
you just focus on being great musicians.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. And we're very conscious of like the steps that we were taking, and they seemed like little steps because we had a huge boom, and then it was like after that, what do you do? So we're just like taking all these steps and keep thinking of the goals that we had and what we had to do to like work for them, and eventually get there.
It worked because ultimately, like, you could have gotten signed after that cover and
Yes.
and
Right.
not
Well,
been good
they
musicians.
tried to.
Yeah, I'm sure they did try.
Yeah.
And like been forced to like play this role that you weren't really ready for.
Yes.
But instead, you just you practice, you cook, you perfect, and then you get signed when you're ready. And once you're actually
Exactly.
right, because you get signed years after that.
like
Yeah.
Yes.
8-9 years.
And
after
honestly,
Amazing.
like even our parents, like we focused on like doing like practicing and rehearsing all of that, but like our parents were the ones that got like mails with like offers of
Offers.
like shows and this and that. They were like, this is not who we are. Like we would talk about it and we were like,
Yeah,
this
we were
is like even for our parents, it was all like so new.
Our poor parents have like never done anything in the music
Yeah.
industry, and they were getting like these record deal offers and like mails and gigs.
"What is
And they're like, "Oh my god, what do we do?"
Yeah,
but
'cause
they handled it.
I feel like
amazingly.
I feel like we should say like no one in our family is a musician until
Just us.
Us. So like
yes,
everything about this world was new to us.
new to us.
We all grew together and learned together.
and
you
I
get
feel
to
like
figure it
we-
out together.
Yeah. And we learned how to like obviously like aim for the like shoot for the stars, but be very grounded in what we could accomplish and what we wanted to accomplish, and how to like how much we needed to grow in our skills like professionally to be able to take those steps. Because I can't imagine like signing a deal after like our big boom.
But that
like we
happens.
didn't have a sound. We weren't confident as like songwriters.
Writers,
Like we
no.
would have been like given songs to play, like
Yeah.
an identity, like so we were able to step into this record deal with a fan base, with an identity, with a history, with touring like in our
Yeah, with
pockets,
ticket
Like,
sales,
yeah, exactly.
you know?
Yeah, like we could fill clubs.
Yeah.
and that's how we went into this label. So like
Yeah.
that's such
Oh,
a blessing. Like
wow,
that's such a
yeah.
good thing to have. Honestly,
Interesting.
I'm happy about that.
Listen to the warning. It's all on Amazon Music. Final thoughts?
Is it just weird? I just realized. Is it weird to like be speaking English to each other for an hour? Or is it
We're used to
normal?
it
at
by
this
I've
now.
never
point?
thought
We're
about
used
it
to
that
it. I feel
way.
like
now.
we're used to it by now. It's like
Yeah.
it's like the sister and like work thing.
Yes,
This
Yeah.
is the work part, and it's like it's just
Yeah.
normal.
it's automatic.
Yeah.
now.
It's automatic.
No one had ever asked us that. I had never thought about it, and I feel it's like when you write a word too many times
And it sounds
you're-
weird. Yeah,
like it looks weird.
Yeah.
I feel like that now with English.
How'd you learn English?
Oh,
School.
school, books, and TV.
TV.
We would
For
watch
sure.
American TV all the time.
Yep.
So
One of the coolest compliments we get is when people tell us they watch our interviews to like learn conversational English.
that's how you learn, actually.
for sure, by
But when we
listening.
started working, our English was not great. You can
No.
hear us in our first interviews, and it's like, what are they saying?
We had our first like when we were gonna have our first interview, we took like media training
Just like for
lesson.
pronunciation.
But I was like 8 or
We would
something
put
like that.
our
Yeah.
pencil in our mouths and just kind of like to pronounce
things
yeah.
correctly.
Really?
Oh.
That's a technique?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
for
is.
singing as well. Like when you're recording vocals.
Oh, you're right.
And like you're not pronouncing things correctly, you put a pencil in your mouth.
And speak like
Yeah,
that
speak
for like
for
a
a
whole
while.
time, and then you will kind of get it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It works.
Like sideways. Like
Diction.
you bite it.
Yeah. I was.
Not like-
yeah, you didn't point-
Imagine no one
Swallow the pencil.
take the pencil point first. Yeah. That'd be weird.
Yes, that'd be very weird.
Horizontally is not weird enough. Got it. You good?
Well, you said one thing a few minutes ago, how people don't give you guys credit for being like women in a rock band, or they kind of like give you a weird look.
Yeah.
Why is that, and how do you overcome that?
Oh, we hope we knew. But
I mean, why is that? Because that's how the world is, sadly.
The world is sexist, Daniel?
Yes, I mean,
Misogyny affects everything?
I didn't want to be the one to say it. That's why I was asking them.
but honestly, it's pretty. I mean, we don't think about it all the time. Like, oh my God, we're women and we're in a band. But I know that people think about it all the time. When we step on stage, it's the first thing that they see. And sometimes people can see beyond
Past that.
They're like, oh, it's a gimmick, or like, oh, they're just like industry plants because they're women and they're playing. But it's great that with our music we can like change that type of like perception,
override the system in
and
their
that's
brains.
why we rehearse. Like we go to these stages and we know that people expect the very worst from us, and we know that we're not only representing like ourselves, but we're representing women in rock, or like Mexican women in rock.
Yeah.
And it's like we put in the work so we can like change people's minds in a way, or like just
perspective.
open the door for like curiosity of like, oh, maybe they're not that bad, and like that leads to change most of the time.
It's true. It sucks that you have to speak with your music first, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
but
Like,
music
before
is
they
a
even
great
look
tool.
at you, you want to just play.
Yeah, but at least we have that tool.
Totally.
Exactly. And I feel like people get that because like music is the language that kind of like connects us all together in that sense, and especially in the live setting as well. That when you accept the music, it's like it doesn't matter who's on stage.
Who's on stage, yeah.
And I hope that like other little girls, other Spanish speaking little girls can see this and make music that maybe they didn't think was like for them, you know? Because I
Yeah,
think
of
seeing
course.
this and hearing this, it, I don't know, can unlock potential, or just somebody saying that they can't because they couldn't see it, you know what I mean?
That's
Happens all the time.
fantastic.
Exactly.
I
That
mean,
is.
if we can do that, I would be
Not
extremely
even
honored.
just once, it's a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. It's an honor to be able to do that with your music. I think inspire others to do stuff.
I think it's part of why we love what we do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Keep Me Fed is the album. It's coming in June. But go to their artist page now on Amazon Music. Code on the screen, link below. Final thoughts?
Last question is, are you guys going to stay living in Mexico, or are you eventually going to move out somewhere else?
I hope we stay
Oh,
living
I
in
hope we
Mexico.
stay in
Yes,
Mexico,
me
yeah.
too.
I feel like in the past we were like, oh, we want to live somewhere else, but after touring so much, even like in different parts of Mexico, like I can't. It needs to be Monterrey. It just feels like home.
We've traveled all over the world, and honestly, I'm very biased probably, but
For sure.
Mexican food, Mexican culture, like just all of that, nothing
Compares
at
to
least,
it.
yeah, like nothing has topped it. Honestly, I love home.
Home is where the heart is, Daniel.
I'm looking at pictures. Looks nice.
Las montañas.
Looks like a nice place.
Yeah.
Big
Anytime you guys
mountains.
want to visit, we'll show
Yeah.
you around.
We're surrounded by
For
mountains.
sure.
Mi casa es su casa.
Muchas gracias.
De nada.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah. I understand Spanish.
Nice.
Slay.
Yeah, thanks. Anywho, the warning, everybody. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Woo.
You're awesome.
Oh, thank you. You guys